Time is the one thing everyone has, but it never waits for anyone. What you do right now shapes everything: your future, your happiness, your success. The truth is, too many people put off important things, telling themselves later or tomorrow, but that later often never comes. Every moment you hesitate, you lose a chance to improve your life, to become stronger, to fix what's broken, or to make meaningful progress. This isn't about pressure or guilt. It's about understanding how powerful the present moment really is. When you choose to act now, right now, you take control. You stop giving away your time and energy to distractions, excuses, or fears. You start building habits and making decisions that bring real change. This kind of living creates a sense of calm and confidence, because you know you are not waiting for life to happen to you, you are making life happen. In this series you'll find practical advice that you can use today. It's about cutting through the noise and focusing on what truly matters. You'll learn how to take charge of your day, stop making excuses, face the hard things without delay, and build strength from small daily wins. You'll see how honest communication can heal relationships, and why your health decisions cannot wait another minute. You'll discover the importance of setting clear boundaries and directing your energy wisely, so you're not exhausted by things that don't serve you. This journey isn't about perfection or quick fixes. It's about steady, meaningful growth. It's about choosing every moment to become better, stronger, and more disciplined. The power to change your life isn't somewhere out there. It's right here, right now, in your hands. Stick with this. Give yourself permission to act without delay. The habits and choices you make today will shape the life you want to live tomorrow. This is your moment. Don't leave anything for later. Chapter 1. Take full control of your day right now. Every day begins with a decision, whether we realize it or not. From the moment we open our eyes, we are faced with a quiet choice: take control or give it away. Most people never truly grasp the weight of this choice. They wake up and drift into the day without direction, pulled by habit, circumstance, or other people's priorities. But those who live with purpose, those who grow, those who build meaningful lives, they begin their day with intention, they take full control, and that one action changes everything. Taking full control of your day is not about being busy, it's about being responsible. It's about owning your time, your choices, your energy, and your responses. It means refusing to let the day dictate who you are and what you do. It means deciding, clearly and deliberately, how you will live, regardless of what distractions, noise, or obstacles appear. The truth is, most people wait. They wait for motivation, they wait for clarity, they wait for the perfect moment. But that moment never comes. Life does not reward waiting, it rewards action, and when you delay action, you quietly give away the power that belongs to you. The person who doesn't take control of their day becomes controlled by everything else. The news, emails, complaints, moods, interruptions, temptations, and fears, and slowly, without realizing it, they become a passenger in their own life. Taking control begins the moment you wake up, not after coffee, not after scrolling your phone, not when the urgency kicks in. It starts with a decision to be conscious. Your morning is not just a transition from sleep to activity, it is the foundation of your entire day. How you use that first hour sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin your day distracted, rushed, or passive, it will bleed into your decisions, your energy, and your focus. But if you begin with clarity, discipline, and self-respect, you become grounded, you become stable, you become someone who leads themselves. And leadership of the self is the most important form of leadership. You cannot expect your life to change if you do not change how you lead yourself through each day. You must become the kind of person who does not waste time, who does not tolerate laziness, Who does not allow emotions to take over when hard decisions must be made? This is not about being perfect. It is about being responsible. To take full control of your day, begin by understanding what control actually looks like. Control is not about force. It is about awareness. It means knowing where your time is going. It means recognizing when your attention drifts. It means seeing clearly when you are avoiding, hesitating, or reacting. Control is quiet. It is internal. It happens in the decisions you make when no one is watching. So how do you build this kind of control? First, you stop living on autopilot. That means no more starting your day with distractions. No more letting social media or notifications hijack your attention. No more waiting to feel like doing something. The first hour of your day must be yours. Before the world asks anything of you, you must take care of your mind. You must be the one to decide what matters, what your values are, what your priorities are, and how you will move through the next 24 hours with strength. It starts small. Wake up and sit in silence. Not to meditate for hours or chase some spiritual goal, just to breathe and see clearly. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing I need to do today? Not the easiest, not the most urgent, not the one that makes you feel comfortable, the most important. The task that moves your life forward. The one that demands your full presence and your full effort. Most people never ask this question. They drown in busyness, thinking that movement equals progress, but it doesn't. You can spend an entire day running around and still feel like nothing changed. That's because you didn't choose your actions with clarity. You let the day pull you instead of pulling it. The result is exhaustion without growth. Now, once you identify the most important thing, you do it. You start immediately. Not after you feel ready, not after cleaning the kitchen, not after one more episode. You begin, because beginning is the only way forward. The longer you delay, the heavier the task becomes in your mind. You build fear and resistance by waiting, but action clears fear, movement breaks doubt. And every time you act in spite of hesitation, you strengthen your discipline. This is how power is built, not by grand gestures or overnight transformations, but by mastering the next hour. That is all. Master the next hour. Use it fully, own it completely, and then do it again. Throughout the day, the temptation to drift will return. Distractions will multiply. People will ask for your time. Your own mind will look for the easy way out. This is when control is tested, not when things are calm, but when your focus is under pressure. And this is when you must remind yourself that you are responsible for how this day ends. No one else. Not your boss, not your partner, not the world. You. That is not a burden. It is a gift. You have the freedom to shape your day. You have the freedom to walk away from useless conversations. You have the freedom to say no to anything that weakens you. And most importantly, you have the freedom to say yes to what will make you stronger. To take full control of your day also means taking full control of your thoughts. Your mind is not a place for random noise. It is the command center of your life. If you allow it to spiral into doubt, fear, comparison, or complaining, you lose your edge. You become reactive instead of strategic. That is why self-talk matters. That is why your inner world must be disciplined. Talk to yourself with clarity. Speak truth to yourself. Challenge your weakness with logic. Encourage your strength with action. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be awake. You need to notice when your thoughts are pulling you away from your values. You need to redirect your mind again and again to what matters. This is the real work of growth, not achieving more, not proving anything, just aligning who you are with what you do. And none of this is possible without structure. You cannot expect to control your day without a system. That means planning your time. It means identifying your top 3 priorities each day and giving them your full attention. It means blocking out space for deep work and removing everything that breaks your focus. Most importantly, It means protecting your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Your energy is your most precious resource. Once it is drained, your decisions weaken, your patience drops, your clarity fades. That is why your routines matter. That is why rest matters. That is why nutrition, movement and quiet time are not luxuries, they are essentials. They fuel your ability to stay in control. Without them, you will eventually collapse under the weight of pressure. So control is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters and protecting the space that allows you to do it well. And this includes your relationships. The people you spend time with shape your thoughts. If you surround yourself with those who complain, blame, or avoid responsibility, it will infect your mindset. Choose people who live intentionally, people who challenge you to grow, people who honor their time and their word. Their presence will keep you sharp. Taking full control of your day also means accepting the consequences of your decisions. You do not get to escape the cost of wasted time. Every moment you spend avoiding a task is a moment you never get back. That is not meant to create guilt. It is meant to create urgency, because once you truly understand that your time is limited, you begin to live with intention. You stop tolerating nonsense. You stop chasing comfort. You start making each hour count. This mindset creates freedom. When you know that you gave your best, that you showed up fully, that you didn't shrink from your responsibilities, you rest well, you walk taller, you feel a quiet strength, and that strength becomes your foundation. It carries into how you speak, how you walk, how you show up in relationships, how you handle conflict, how you pursue your goals. Everything is built on that base of daily control, and when you have a bad day, because you will, you don't spiral, you pause, you learn, you adjust. Then you return to the discipline that keeps you grounded. That is what separates those who grow from those who stall, the ability to reset, refocus, and reclaim control, no matter what happened yesterday. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be present, to live fully, to act with strength, and that begins by deciding today, right now, that you will no longer give your time away cheaply, that you will no longer wait for motivation, that you will no longer let others write the script of your life. You must write it, you must choose it, and you must defend it. Taking full control of your day is not a one-time act. It is a lifelong habit. It is a form of self-respect. It is how you tell the world and yourself that you are serious about your life. So begin today. Wake up early. Be deliberate. Focus deeply. Move with discipline. Speak with honesty. Rest with purpose. And when the day ends, look back and know that you led it well, because the way you live one day is the way you live your life. And when you take full control of today, you take full control of your future. Chapter 2. Eliminate every excuse that delays your progress. Progress doesn't disappear because of a lack of time. It disappears because of the reasons we keep giving ourselves to avoid doing what must be done. Excuses are not harmless thoughts. They are silent agreements we make with our limitations. And every time we listen to them, we give permission for mediocrity to lead. It doesn't matter how talented, intelligent, or capable you are. If excuses control your behavior, growth will never take root. The mind is always searching for the path of least resistance. It will try to convince you that you're too tired, too late, too overwhelmed, too uncertain. It will tell you that you're not ready, or that conditions need to be perfect before you start. And if you believe it, you delay the very things that would change your life. The hardest truth to accept is that no excuse, no matter how reasonable it sounds, can replace action. Results do not respond to feelings. They respond to effort. There's a subtle form of self-sabotage that disguises itself as logic. I'll do it when I'm more confident. I'm waiting until I'm less stressed. I'll try when I have more support. These sound like valid reasons, but they are not. They are delays. They are rationalizations. They are ways to avoid discomfort without calling it what it is: fear of effort. Nothing changes until you stop negotiating with your weaknesses. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. You need to stop giving space in your mind to ideas that make quitting seem reasonable. If it's important to you, then it must be acted on. Not tomorrow, not later, but now. The longer you wait, the stronger the habit of hesitation becomes, and hesitation builds distance between where you are and where you could be. People often wait for the right season of life to begin, but there is no perfect season. There is no guaranteed opportunity. There is only now. And the more excuses you make today, the more regret you create for tomorrow. Life does not pause to accommodate your indecision. It moves forward with or without you. And the people who grow, the ones who become something more than what they were, are not the ones with easier paths. They are the ones who refuse to make excuses. Eliminating excuses is not about becoming harsh or rigid. It's about becoming honest. It means calling yourself out when you're slipping. It means recognizing that the voice in your head that says, "You can't," is not a fact. It's a pattern, and patterns can be broken the moment you stop feeding them. When you stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "How can I?" you shift from being a victim of your limitations to becoming the architect of your choices. You must train yourself to act, despite inconvenience, because real growth begins the moment it would be easier not to show up. That's when most people stop. But that's also where you can separate yourself. You make progress not by waiting for perfect motivation, but by showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's where your character is built. Excuses are addictive because they remove responsibility. They make it easy to explain why you're stuck. But nothing valuable comes from that mindset. If something matters to you, then the discomfort that comes with pursuing it is part of the price. You cannot expect reward without paying the cost. And the cost is action, not talk, not theory, not planning. Action. The only way to prove your seriousness is to follow through. You must develop the discipline to move without needing permission from your feelings. Feelings change, but principles remain. And if your principle is growth, then no excuse has the power to derail you unless you give it that power. The second you stop giving energy to justifications, you free yourself to create results. It doesn't matter if the task is small or massive. Every time you follow through, you make yourself stronger. There are people who will tell you to be gentle with yourself, and while compassion is necessary, there is a point where gentleness becomes avoidance. If you've been saying the same excuse for years, it's no longer protection, it's limitation. At some point, you have to face the mirror and admit that your habits are creating the life you have. And if you want a different life, you must break the loop of avoidance and start doing what's difficult. You're not supposed to feel ready. Readiness is a myth sold by comfort. You'll never feel like doing the hard thing. You'll rarely be in the mood to take the high road. But that's the difference between people who change and people who stay the same. Those who change don't wait for the feeling. They build the habit. They show up tired. They start unsure. They work through doubt. And on the other side of that effort is clarity, growth, and confidence. If you want more out of life, excuses can't live here anymore. Every time you give in to one, you take a step away from your future, and it's always easier to excuse a small delay. But those small delays stack up. They become weeks, then months, then years, and eventually you find yourself far from where you wanted to be, confused as to how it happened. It happened one excuse at a time. This is why eliminating excuses is not a motivational trick. It's a survival skill for anyone who wants to live a life of substance. You don't get to experience the satisfaction of achievement if you're constantly defending your comfort zone. The two cannot exist together. One has to die for the other to live. Either your excuses win or your potential wins. It's a fight that happens quietly, every day, inside your choices. You must become the kind of person who keeps commitments to themselves, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You must become the kind of person who doesn't justify why something didn't happen, but who makes sure it does. Not for applause, not for recognition, but because you refuse to let your life slip by under the weight of what could have been. Start small. Pick one thing you've been avoiding, one thing you keep saying you'll get to, and do it. Today, without discussion, without overthinking, and when your mind tries to offer you a way out, thank it for trying to protect you, and then move anyway. That's how change begins. One action, one decision, one refusal to give in to an old excuse. You are capable of far more than you've shown the world. But the only way the world will see it is if you stop hiding behind reasons and start producing results. You will be amazed at what's possible when you stop giving your energy to avoidance and start pouring it into execution. There is no perfect path, but there is a clear one, and it starts with the moment you stop giving power to your excuses. From that moment on, every step forward becomes a statement, not just of your potential, but of your commitment to living fully, without apology, without delay. Chapter 3. Face uncomfortable tasks the moment they appear. Most people postpone uncomfortable tasks because they believe discomfort is something to be avoided, not challenged. But that belief quietly destroys momentum. Growth isn't waiting behind the things you enjoy doing. It's hiding in the things you resist. Every time you push aside something difficult, you're telling yourself that your future can wait. And over time, those moments of hesitation become habits. You no longer delay one task. You begin delaying progress itself. And the only way to break that cycle is to stop turning away and start moving toward the very thing you're trying to avoid. The discomfort you fear is never as intense as the weight of knowing you didn't face it. That regret builds slowly and painfully. You start to distrust your own ability to follow through. You begin making smaller decisions, taking fewer risks, lowering your standards without realizing it. But the truth is, anything avoided gains power. What you don't face begins to control you. And the only way to reverse that process is through action, not later, but the moment it shows up. There is a small window when something uncomfortable first appears, and in that window you have a choice. Either you handle it and move forward, or you avoid it and carry it with you. Carrying it doesn't make it disappear. It just adds weight to your thoughts, clutters your attention, and drains your energy. One delay becomes two. Two becomes a pattern, and suddenly you're tired all the time, not because of what you did, but because of what you didn't. Most of the stress people feel doesn't come from action, it comes from avoidance. An unresolved conversation, a project that keeps getting pushed, a health decision left for next month. These things don't leave your mind just because you left them off your calendar. They stay in your system like an open tab you forgot to close. They pull on your focus even when you're trying to relax. You can't fully enjoy rest when the discomfort you avoided is still waiting to be handled. Facing uncomfortable tasks is not about punishment. It's about freedom. You free your mind from the constant noise of procrastination. You free your body from the anxiety of avoidance. You free your time by clearing away what would eventually return with more pressure. The fastest way to build clarity and confidence is to deal with the thing that makes you hesitate. You grow not just by what you do, but by what you refuse to run from. The mistake people make is waiting until they feel like it. But that moment rarely comes. You'll almost never feel ready to make the call, write the letter, fix the mess, or make the change. But readiness isn't the signal to act. Necessity is. If something is holding space in your mind, then it deserves space in your schedule. Now, you act not because you're comfortable, but because you're committed to not carrying the weight any longer. You can learn to face discomfort quickly by making it your default setting. Don't ask if you feel like it. Don't check if the mood is right. Don't look for signs. Treat the appearance of something uncomfortable as your invitation to act. The longer you hesitate, the more mental resistance grows. But if you respond instantly, that resistance never gets a chance to settle. You stop it before it shapes your behavior. You don't have to finish the entire task in one sitting, but you must start. You must send the first message, take the first step, make the first cut into the problem. Starting breaks the illusion that the task is bigger than you. It brings the problem down to size. What once seemed overwhelming becomes something you're actively handling. That shift builds momentum, and once momentum starts, the rest becomes manageable. You'll notice that people who move fast on discomforts are also the ones who carry the least emotional baggage. That's not a coincidence. They don't hold on to tension because they don't avoid what causes it. When something unpleasant shows up, they deal with it. They don't negotiate with it. They don't try to escape it. They face it, resolve it, and keep moving. That's how they stay light, clear, and focused. Handling things immediately isn't about perfection. You won't always get it right, but you'll build a life where problems don't pile up. You'll be able to respond to challenges in real time, and most importantly, you'll begin trusting yourself. That trust changes how you walk through life. You no longer feel like you're always behind. You begin experiencing the rare peace that comes from being caught up with yourself. You can train yourself to respond fast by shrinking the space between thought and action. The moment you notice something hard, move. Don't give your mind a chance to talk you out of it. That conversation always ends the same way. You'll think of 100 ways to justify delay, but none of those reasons matter more than the fact that action would solve the problem. Silence the excuses with movement. Let your commitment speak louder than your comfort. Uncomfortable tasks are teachers. They reveal where you still avoid responsibility. They show you what triggers hesitation. And every time you conquer one, you gain strength, not just for that day, but for the next challenge. Courage is not something you wait to feel. It's something you practice by doing hard things while you still feel unsure. The more often you do that, the more resilient you become. Facing discomfort doesn't mean you enjoy it. It means you've decided that your future matters more than your comfort. And when you live like that, you begin to rise, not in dramatic leaps, but in quiet moments where you simply refuse to let fear decide. You become the kind of person who does what needs to be done, without delay, without overthinking, without waiting for permission. This is how you build real power, not through control but through courage. Not by making your life easier, but by becoming someone who can handle more. You don't get stronger by thinking about doing hard things. You get stronger by doing them the moment they appear, because the moment is always the right time. The discomfort is the signal, and the action is your proof that you're no longer willing to be the person who waits. Every task you face immediately becomes a brick in your foundation. Over time, that foundation becomes unshakable, and when the storms come, and they always do, you won't be thrown off course. Because you're no longer carrying a pile of unfinished business. You're standing on the discipline you built, one uncomfortable decision at a time. That's the kind of life you deserve, not one weighed down by delay, but one freed by decisive action. Chapter 4. Build unshakable discipline through small daily wins. Discipline is not something you wait to feel. It is something you create step by step through consistent choices that look small from the outside, but build strength within. Many people search for motivation, but what they truly need is a foundation, a reason to act even when it's hard. And that foundation is built not by massive accomplishments, but by doing simple things well every single day. You don't need a grand transformation to become disciplined. What you need is the ability to keep promises to yourself, especially the small ones. Especially when no one is watching. Every small decision carries weight. Every time you get up when you said you would. Every time you follow your plan, even when you're tired. Every time you act with intention instead of emotion. You are stacking proof that you can depend on yourself. That kind of consistency builds a deep internal confidence that doesn't rely on motivation. It becomes part of who you are. You're no longer trying to be disciplined. You are disciplined because you live in alignment with what you say you will do. Big results come from small wins that are repeated. One good decision won't change your life, but thousands will. And the mistake many people make is underestimating how much power there is in small steps. They think success has to look impressive, but real strength is quiet. It shows up in habits, in morning routines, in healthy meals, in turning off distractions, in showing up even when no one is clapping. If you can win those moments, you can win anything. Discipline is not about restriction, it's about freedom. Freedom from guilt, freedom from regret, freedom from the weight of knowing you keep breaking your word to yourself. When you build your day around simple actions you complete, you start carrying yourself differently. You stop feeling behind. You stop explaining. You begin to feel clear and grounded because you're no longer negotiating with your own intentions. You've decided who you are, and now your actions confirm it. Start with things you can control. You don't need to fix your entire life at once. Begin with your wake-up time, your hydration, your first task, your meals, your movement. These things might seem ordinary, but they are the structure on which you build your identity. When you repeat them day after day, they stop being chores and start becoming rituals. You no longer do them because you have to. You do them because they reflect who you've become. Don't chase perfection. Chase consistency. You don't need to be great every day. You need to show up every day. Some days will feel easy. Others will feel impossible. What matters is that you don't give yourself the option to quit. Even on hard days, you can find a win. Even if it's just completing your checklist. Even if it's drinking your water. Even if it's turning off your phone when it's time to rest. Small victories done with intention are more powerful than occasional bursts of effort, followed by long periods of delay. Discipline becomes easier when it's attached to purpose. If you're only doing something because you think you should, you'll eventually stop. But if you connect it to the kind of life you want to live, it gains meaning. Ask yourself what kind of person you're becoming through your habits. Are your actions shaping someone you respect, or are you drifting into someone you don't recognize? Small wins are not just about the task, they're about reinforcing the identity of someone who shows up for what matters. If you break your streak, don't spiral, start again immediately. Don't wait until Monday. Don't turn one mistake into a story about failure. Discipline is not about never falling. It's about rising every single time. The quicker you get back to your routine, the faster you repair your momentum, and over time, even your recovery becomes a habit. You learn to bounce back instead of break down. Build checkpoints into your day, times where you pause, reflect, and reset. These don't have to be long or dramatic. Just a few minutes where you ask yourself, am I doing what I said I would do? Am I focused on what matters right now? Am I acting like the person I want to become? These moments create awareness, and awareness gives you the power to adjust before you drift too far off course. The real reward of discipline is self-respect. It's the quiet pride of knowing you can trust yourself in difficult moments. It's the peace that comes from knowing you're building something solid, even if no one else sees it yet. Discipline doesn't shout, it doesn't demand attention, but over time, it creates a life that speaks for itself, and it all begins with one simple decision: to win this day. Some people wait for ideal conditions, But conditions don't make you disciplined, your decisions do. The world will always offer distractions. Your schedule will never be perfect. Your energy will come and go. But if you learn to keep your commitments through it all, nothing outside you will control what happens within you. You'll build a kind of mental toughness that doesn't need permission to act. Measure your success by how many days you win quietly, not the days you post about, not the days that feel exciting, but the ones where you simply did what needed to be done. These are the days that build character. These are the days that shape your future. One quiet win at a time. Never underestimate what you can build in 1 year with consistent discipline. The compound effect of small daily wins will surprise you. A page a day becomes a book. A walk a day becomes a healthy body. A focused hour becomes a new skill, and each of these changes makes the next one easier. You create momentum not by force but by routine. If you struggle to stay disciplined, start by simplifying your environment. Remove temptations, set clear rules, keep your workspace clean. Design your surroundings to support your habits. Make the right choice the easy choice. Don't rely on willpower alone. Build systems that guide your actions even when motivation fades. Track your progress. Use a journal, use a calendar, use a checklist. Seeing your consistency builds a feedback loop. It reminds you that your actions matter, that you are creating change, and on days when your mind wants to quit, those small recorded wins will remind you of how far you've come. Keep your goals simple and clear. Don't overload your day with tasks. Choose a few key habits and repeat them relentlessly. It's better to master a few behaviors than to try and juggle too many and fail at all of them. Simplicity is strength, and focus beats scattered effort every time. Discipline is not something you wait to develop. It's something you begin building the moment you decide to stop breaking promises to yourself. And the best way to do that is through small daily wins. Each one moves you closer to the life you want. Each one becomes a vote for the person you want to become. And the more you vote, the stronger that identity becomes. Until one day you realize you no longer have to try to be disciplined. You simply are. Chapter 5. Create a clear plan and follow it today. Clarity brings movement. The longer you hesitate to create a clear plan, the more likely you are to drift through your day, reacting to whatever shows up instead of directing your time with intention. Every hour you spend without direction is a piece of your life being shaped by chance rather than by choice. A plan doesn't just organize your day, it reminds you that your time is valuable and that your actions carry weight. People who move with clarity don't waste energy trying to decide what to do next. They've already chosen. They don't leave their priorities to be decided by emotion or circumstance. They've already set them. The mind will always look for the easiest path when there is no clear route to follow. That's why having a plan is not about rigidity. It's about structure. It's not about perfection. It's about purpose. When you create a clear plan and commit to following it today, you eliminate indecision. You give yourself fewer moments to bargain, procrastinate, or delay. You move forward with certainty because you already made the most important decision, what matters today and what doesn't. The mistake most people make is thinking they need more time when what they really need is more clarity. They wait for the right moment, the right mood, the right setup, but that moment rarely comes. Progress starts when you get clear about what matters now, not someday. If you wait to feel ready, you'll keep putting off what could change everything. A plan doesn't require motivation, it requires a decision, and the best way to honor your day is by filling it with intentional action instead of scattered motion. To build a clear plan, begin by identifying the few things that truly matter. Not everything is urgent. Not every task deserves your attention. The more you reduce the noise, the more effective you become. Select 3 key actions that, if completed today, would make your day meaningful. These are not just chores. These are progress points, things that pull your life forward. Write them down. Be specific. Ambiguity breeds avoidance. Clarity breeds movement. A clear target sharpens your focus and eliminates distraction. Once you've named your priorities, protect time for them. Don't hope to find time. Make time. Assign blocks in your schedule that are non-negotiable. This is not about filling every minute with activity. It's about choosing your actions in advance so that you don't fall victim to impulse. The stronger your boundaries around your plan, the more control you take back over your day. Guard your time like it matters, because it does. Break large tasks into small, manageable steps. A task that feels overwhelming often remains undone because it's too vague. When something isn't clearly defined, it's easier to avoid. Break it down until the first step is so small that it feels impossible to resist. Instead of start project, plan, open the document and outline 3 main ideas. Instead of get healthy, schedule cook 1 balanced meal. The smaller the first step, the faster you begin, and starting is often the only barrier between you and momentum. As you move through your plan, resist the urge to switch between tasks aimlessly. Fragmented focus drains energy and wastes time. Single tasking beats multitasking in nearly every scenario. Give full attention to one thing at a time, then move on. When your energy is spread across too many half-complete actions, nothing gets finished and frustration builds. Completion, even on small tasks, fuels motivation. It builds confidence. It reminds you that progress is possible and within reach. Track your progress in real time. Don't rely on memory to measure productivity. Use a notebook, a planner, or a digital tool to mark what you've completed. Visible progress strengthens commitment. It gives you proof that your effort is turning into results. Each task crossed off is not just a chore done, it's a step taken. And when you see those steps stacking, you start believing in your ability to finish what you start. Eliminate distractions before they arise. Don't assume you'll have the willpower to resist them when they appear. Design your environment so that your plan is easy to follow and hard to escape. Turn off notifications. Clear your workspace. Tell the people around you what you're working on. Set clear boundaries. You don't need to rely on discipline if you've already removed the temptations. Make the right action the default. That's how you stay on track. A plan is a compass, not a cage. If something unexpected happens, adjust without guilt. Flexibility is part of wisdom, but don't confuse flexibility with avoidance. You are not abandoning your priorities. You are responding thoughtfully while still staying grounded in purpose. The goal is not to control every second. The goal is to know where you're going so that even when life pulls you off course, you can realign quickly. At the end of the day, reflect. Ask yourself what worked, what felt clear, what felt chaotic, what moments drained you, what habits supported you. Self-review is not about criticism, it's about understanding. If you want your days to improve, you must study them. You must pay attention to the patterns. Awareness turns into insight. Insight turns into better planning, and better planning leads to better outcomes. Don't wait for tomorrow to begin planning. There is no strength in delay. Today is already in your hands. What you do with it is your choice. If your mind says, "I'll figure it out later," remind yourself later is an illusion. Clarity starts now. Action begins now. Direction is chosen now. The power to decide how you live today has already been handed to you. You simply need to use it. There is nothing stopping you from taking control of your time except the choice not to. A clear plan is not beyond your reach. It's not a gift that some people have and others don't. It's a tool you build every morning when you sit down, think with focus, and commit to doing what matters. The person who plans their day is not trying to control life. They are choosing to shape it with intention. That choice belongs to you. The difference between wasted time and a powerful day is one decision to act with clarity, not confusion, not impulse, not distraction, but clarity. And that clarity is born from planning, not once in a while but every day as a ritual of self-respect and self-mastery. This is how change begins, not in theory, not in imagination, but in real, practical steps written on a page, followed with discipline, and lived with purpose. Today is the opportunity, planning is the method, execution is the promise. Start now. Chapter 6. Speak honestly and fix broken relationships immediately. Most of the weight people carry in their lives isn't physical, it's emotional, and much of that emotional weight comes from unsaid words, unresolved conflicts, and fractured relationships that have been left hanging for far too long. The conversations you avoid are often the ones that could release the pressure in your chest. The longer you wait to speak honestly, the heavier it becomes to carry silence. Relationships, no matter how meaningful, will deteriorate without truth. Delaying honesty doesn't preserve peace. It only postpones discomfort. The more you hide what needs to be said, the more you distance yourself from the connection you truly want. Speaking honestly is not about confronting others with harsh words or cold truths. It's about showing up with clarity, calmness, and care. It's about saying what is real instead of pretending everything is fine. When you speak with sincerity, even the most uncomfortable conversations can create healing. You don't need to have perfect words, just true ones. What damages relationships most isn't disagreement, it's avoidance. People can handle a lot more truth than we give them credit for, especially when it's delivered with respect and humility. Unspoken resentment poisons connection. It grows in silence, then erupts when no one expects it. But when you speak honestly, even about small irritations or disappointments, you give the relationship space to breathe and evolve. The moment you voice what's been bothering you, the tension loses its grip. The moment you apologize for something left unacknowledged, the guilt begins to loosen. The moment you express how much someone still matters to you, the silence that's grown between you starts to shrink. You don't need the perfect setting or timing. What you need is the willingness to value the relationship more than your comfort. Waiting for the right moment often turns into waiting forever. If someone is on your heart, they deserve your honesty. If a misunderstanding continues to fester, it deserves resolution. People leave this world every day with words still trapped inside them, words of love, regret, forgiveness, or truth. And the people left behind often carry those unsaid words like anchors for the rest of their lives. Start by asking yourself who you're holding back from. Who have you distanced yourself from because it was easier than explaining how you feel? Who have you blamed without speaking it out loud? Who do you still care about, but pretend you don't? When you get honest with yourself first, you can begin to speak honestly to others. Don't underestimate the power of a single message, a simple phone call, or a quiet conversation. These small moments often repair years of silence. What seems hard to say becomes easier once the first words are spoken. Being the one to initiate doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Pride might keep you stuck in a cycle of waiting for the other person to make the first move, but time doesn't pause for ego. While you wait, life moves forward. Opportunities to reconnect fade. If you care about the relationship, act now. Extend the hand. Say the words. Apologize if you must. Forgive if you can. Speak plainly, without dramatics or blame. Say what's true for you, and listen for what's true for them. That's how you repair, not through winning or convincing, but through understanding. When you approach a broken relationship with honesty, expect some discomfort. Growth often begins in uneasy moments. Not every conversation will lead to full reconciliation, but every honest conversation leads to clarity. You may not rebuild every bridge, but at least you'll stop carrying the confusion of not knowing where you stand. Peace isn't always found in agreement. It's found in knowing you've done your part with integrity. If you've hurt someone, speak to it. Don't let shame stop you. A direct apology clears the air in ways that excuses never will. Saying, "I was wrong," doesn't lower your value. It raises your character. If someone has hurt you, don't bury the pain. Share it without accusation. Explain how it affected you. Most people don't realize the depth of their impact until it's explained with calm truth. Speaking up allows both people to see what was unseen. Sometimes honesty means accepting that a relationship needs to change or end. Holding on to something that no longer works out of fear, guilt, or habit is not kindness, it's denial. Speaking openly about the state of a relationship, even when it leads to a transition, honors the truth. It doesn't erase the good times or the love shared. It simply allows both people to step forward with honesty, rather than clinging to something that no longer fits. You are not responsible for how others receive your truth. You're responsible for expressing it with respect. Speak clearly. Don't exaggerate. Don't dramatize. Avoid the urge to attack or defend. Stick to what you feel, what you observed, what you need. Use words that invite dialogue, not words that create walls. This isn't about venting emotion. It's about bridging gaps. Keep your tone steady, your words simple, and your intentions clean. Relationships are fragile when truth is absent, but they are resilient when truth becomes the foundation. Even broken connections can find strength again when both people are willing to be vulnerable. Sometimes honesty reopens a door that's been shut for too long. Sometimes it helps two people understand each other in a way they never did before, and sometimes it offers the closure that both sides need to move forward with peace. The hardest part is starting, but what you avoid only grows in shadow. The moment you begin speaking honestly, even if your voice trembles, the fog starts to clear. You realize that most of what you feared wasn't about the other person. It was about your own resistance to discomfort. Growth always asks for courage. It asks you to step forward before you feel completely ready. It asks you to stop waiting for things to fix themselves and to take responsibility for creating connection. One truthful conversation at a time. There is no freedom in silence when your heart is heavy. There is no healing in avoidance when your mind is filled with questions. And there is no peace in pretending when the truth is waiting to be spoken. The time to fix what's broken is now. The moment to speak what's been held inside is here. Every honest word you speak today has the power to change the direction of a relationship, to release emotional weight, to restore peace, and to bring clarity where there's been confusion. You don't need the perfect words. You just need honest ones. Say what you need to say while there's still time to say it. That's how healing begins. Chapter 7. Make health decisions that cannot wait another day. Your health is not a future project. It's not something to think about once things calm down or when life becomes more convenient. It is the foundation for every other part of your existence, and it cannot be postponed without consequence. Every delay, every excuse, every moment of inaction adds up. Time passes whether you act or not, but only action gives you the power to shape what that time becomes. There comes a point when ignoring your body is no longer an oversight. It becomes a form of self-abandonment. The choices you make today determine how capable you'll be tomorrow. The quality of your sleep, the food you consume, how often you move, the way you breathe, and the stress you tolerate. These are not minor details. They are the architecture of your long-term vitality. The body responds to the signals you give it, and every decision becomes part of that signal. If you keep putting off the gym, skipping doctor visits, numbing stress with unhealthy habits, the consequences won't ask for your permission when they show up. They will simply arrive and stay until you're forced to deal with them. It's easier to protect your health than to fight to get it back once it's lost. You don't need a perfect plan or ideal circumstances. What you need is urgency. Not panic, not fear, but a clear understanding that later is a lie. Later turns into months. Months turn into years. And one day, the damage becomes visible. You wake up tired. You live in discomfort. You rely on medication for energy, sleep, or pain. And by then, it's no longer about optimization. It's about recovery. The path back becomes harder, more expensive, and often incomplete. But that doesn't have to be your story. Start with what you already know you need to do. You don't need another article to tell you that junk food harms your body. You don't need more convincing that regular movement protects your heart. You don't need a lecture to understand that smoking damages your lungs or that sleep deprivation dulls your mind. The truth is already there. The question is whether you're willing to act on it, without waiting for a wake-up call in the form of disease, collapse, or regret. Action begins with simplicity. Drink more water. Cut out what makes you feel heavy or sluggish. Make a walk part of your day, even if it's 10 minutes. Listen to the cues your body gives instead of overriding them. Stop waiting for symptoms to become serious before seeking help. You don't get extra points for tolerating discomfort. Pain is a message, not a challenge. Fatigue is a warning, not a weakness. Don't normalize suffering just because it's familiar. Your body has limits, but it also has a remarkable ability to heal and strengthen if you allow it. Small adjustments add up. Stretching your muscles relieves tension. Eating whole foods reduces inflammation. Resting when you're tired renews your energy. Saying no to chronic stress reclaims your clarity. Nothing is instant, but nothing is meaningless either. One choice leads to the next. Momentum forms, and soon what felt difficult becomes your new standard. It's easy to dismiss early signs. It's easy to tell yourself that everyone feels this tired or that a bit of pain is normal. But deep down, you know the difference between what your body tolerates and what it thrives on. It's not about chasing perfect health or eliminating every risk. It's about being aware, proactive, and responsible. It's about deciding that your life is valuable enough to care for today, not someday. There are people who would give anything for another chance at health. If you still have yours, treat it like the privilege it is. Waiting until something goes wrong is not a strategy. Prevention is wisdom. You don't wait for your car to break down before changing the oil. You don't wait for your house to flood before fixing the leak. Your body deserves the same respect. Get the checkup. Track the numbers. Understand what your blood pressure means, what your sleep quality tells you, what your stress is doing to your hormones. Knowledge empowers you to make meaningful changes before the damage is done. Mental health is part of this picture. Anxiety, depression, burnout. These are not signs of weakness. They are signals that something is out of balance. Speak to someone. Get help. Stop hiding behind busyness or pride. There is strength in admitting you're not okay and choosing to do something about it. Your mind affects your body, and your body affects your mind. Healing one supports the other. Prioritize both. There will never be a perfect time to overhaul your habits, but there is always time to take one step. And that step can be as small as replacing a soda with water, going to bed 30 minutes earlier, or cooking instead of ordering out. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do need to break the pattern of postponement. Every time you say not today, you reinforce the habit of neglect. Every time you say today matters, you strengthen the habit of care. There is no guilt in starting late. There is only danger in not starting at all. The years ahead of you will either reward or punish the way you treat your body now. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. One walk a day does more for your future than 1 month of extreme dieting. Eating one healthy meal each day creates a bigger shift than overhauling your diet for a week and quitting. Don't chase transformations. Commit to habits. There is no luxury more powerful than feeling well, not looking fit, not hitting goals, just waking up without pain, moving without stiffness, breathing deeply, thinking clearly. That's wealth, that's power, that's freedom, and it's built choice by choice, not by waiting for the calendar to turn or life to slow down. You owe it to yourself to make those choices now. You owe it to the people who love you and depend on you. You owe it to the future version of yourself who will either thank you or suffer because of your decisions today. Choose the version that looks back with pride, not regret. The version that didn't wait. The version that made health a non-negotiable. There is nothing selfish about prioritizing your health. It allows you to serve, love, work and live fully. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot inspire others if you're running on fumes. Your presence, your energy, your clarity, all of it comes from how well you care for the vessel you live in. So act today, not next month, not when the stress fades, not after the holidays. Today, make the appointment. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to movement. Prepare the meal that nourishes you. Go outside. Breathe with intention. Sleep with consistency. And most of all, believe that you are worth the effort, because you are. Chapter 8. Set boundaries and stop wasting precious time now. To take control of your life, you must first take control of your time. And the only way to take control of your time is to decide what no longer deserves access to it. Most people don't lose their years to major disasters. They lose them slowly, quietly, and without realizing it. They lose them to people who interrupt their focus, to demands they didn't agree to conversations that drain them, to obligations that aren't aligned with their values. The tragedy isn't that time passes, it's that so much of it is given away without a second thought. When you say yes to something that isn't aligned with your priorities, you are silently saying no to something that is. That yes costs you energy, focus, peace, and sometimes even your health. People will ask for your time freely, as if you have an endless supply of it. They will expect access, opinions, favors, presence, and if you don't draw the line, you will spend your life doing things you don't want to do, for people who may not even appreciate it, while the things that matter most to you slowly fade into the background. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors. They do not keep the world out, they let the right things in. And when you set them, you are not being rude, cold or distant. You are being clear. You are choosing to stop bleeding energy in all directions. You are choosing to protect what gives you life, instead of constantly giving yourself away. The moment you decide to value your time, you stop offering it cheaply. This requires courage. Saying no feels uncomfortable at first. You worry about disappointing others. You worry about being misunderstood. But the cost of pleasing everyone is that you eventually disappear in the process. Your life becomes a series of reactive moments. You respond to every call. You attend every event. You answer every message. You show up for every request. But where are you in all of this? When do you get to live your own life, not just manage everyone else's? Time is the most limited resource you have. Unlike money, you can't earn more of it. Unlike possessions, you can't replace it. Every minute that passes is a minute you will never get back. And the only way to live with purpose is to become fiercely protective of how those minutes are spent. That means getting comfortable with silence. It means being okay with missing out. It means letting go of the need to explain yourself to people who won't understand your boundaries anyway. Start with the simple truth. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't have to attend every event. You don't have to respond instantly to every message. You don't have to be available every time someone demands your attention. There is strength in selective silence. There is clarity in saying, "This doesn't work for me." There is freedom in choosing what you give your life to. People who respect you will respect your boundaries. The ones who don't were never honoring you to begin with. They were using your lack of boundaries to their benefit. When you become more intentional with your time, you will lose some people, but you will gain your life back. You will gain focus. You will gain peace. You will gain space to think, feel, grow, and do the work that fulfills you. That is not a loss. That is a return. You must also learn to protect your own attention from yourself. Distraction is not always caused by others. It's often our own lack of discipline. You don't need to answer every notification. You don't need to check your phone every few minutes. You don't need to scroll endlessly as the day slips by. You need to be present. You need to be in charge of your choices. If you want clarity, start by removing the noise. If you want progress, stop scattering your focus across a dozen meaningless tasks. Protecting your time is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Most people confuse being busy with being productive, but busyness is often a sign of poor boundaries. You fill your schedule to avoid decisions. You overload yourself because you're afraid to say no, but this only leads to burnout and resentment. Real productivity comes from clarity, and clarity comes from knowing where your energy belongs and where it doesn't. This also means creating boundaries with your own habits. Stop putting off what matters. Stop telling yourself that tomorrow will be different if you're not willing to change anything today. Set boundaries with procrastination. Set boundaries with indecision. Stop entertaining thoughts that make you doubt your worth. Stop giving your energy to worry and guilt. They don't serve your future. Setting boundaries is not just about protecting your time. It's also about reclaiming your identity. When you say, "I won't spend time here anymore," you are saying, "This is who I am now." You are defining your values with your actions, not just your words. You are deciding what kind of life you want, and you are backing it up with decisions that reflect that life. There is power in that. There is confidence in that. There is peace in that. Don't wait for burnout to teach you what boundaries could have prevented. Don't wait until you're exhausted, bitter, or overwhelmed. The earlier you start, the more time you have to live with intention. You are not selfish for protecting your peace. You are not cold for refusing to be everyone's solution. You are not weak for stepping away from toxic people. You are simply choosing to honor your time as the precious finite gift that it is. And if you've spent years giving too much of yourself away, forgive yourself, but begin again, stronger, clearer, more aware. Start by saying no to one thing today that doesn't feel right. Start by pausing before you agree to something out of guilt. Start by asking yourself, does this move me toward the life I want, or pull me away from it? Ask that question often. Let it guide you. Let it shape your schedule. Let it filter your choices. The people who truly care about you will respect your growth. The ones who don't were only attached to your availability. Let them go. You are not responsible for managing everyone's expectations. You are responsible for how you live your life. That is your real work. That is your real duty. That is your real freedom. Don't just protect your calendar. Protect your energy, your attention, your goals, your peace of mind. Time is not coming back. Live like it matters, because it does. Chapter 9. Use your energy only on what truly matters. Energy is the currency of life. Without it, nothing moves forward. Every choice you make requires energy. Every action you take drains it. The truth is that energy is limited, more fragile than many realize. If you waste it on things that don't matter, you have less left for what does. The difference between a life of purpose and a life of frustration often boils down to how you manage your energy. When you focus your energy on what truly matters, your progress multiplies, your peace deepens, and your sense of fulfillment grows. When you scatter your energy on distractions, trivial worries or things outside your control, you end up exhausted and empty. Start by understanding that not every problem deserves your energy. It's easy to get caught up in drama, petty conflicts, or unnecessary stress. These are energy sinks, designed to drain your focus and leave you depleted. The moment you decide to conserve your energy, you begin to see clearly which battles are worth fighting. Letting go of the urge to control every situation or fix every issue frees you to direct your strength toward what really moves you forward. This doesn't mean you become indifferent or careless. It means you become selective and intentional. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing urgency with importance. The world is full of urgent demands screaming for attention, but offering little value. Answering every call or reacting to every notification keeps you trapped in a cycle of exhaustion. Instead, cultivate the habit of evaluating every task by its long-term impact. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, a year? If the answer is no, reconsider how much energy you devote to it. Your energy is too precious to waste on fleeting distractions. Another crucial aspect is recognizing where your energy naturally flows and why. Some tasks drain you because they conflict with your values or strengths. Others drain you because they come from external pressure rather than internal desire. When you align your energy with your core principles and authentic goals, your efforts feel easier and more rewarding. This alignment creates a powerful momentum that sustains you even during challenges. When you work against your nature, you invite resistance and burnout. Protecting your energy also means managing your environment. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, the places you frequent, all influence your energy levels. Surround yourself with those who uplift, inspire, and respect your time. Limit exposure to negativity, gossip, or toxic influences that drain your spirit. Create physical spaces that support focus and calm rather than chaos and clutter. Energy is a living resource that responds to what you feed it. Learning to say no is fundamental in preserving your energy. Saying yes to everything leaves you fragmented and depleted. Every yes to a task, a favor, or a distraction is a no to something more meaningful. This boundary setting is not selfish. It's necessary for your growth. It's a practice of self-respect and clarity. When you say no to what drains you, you say yes to yourself and your highest priorities. Your thoughts consume energy just as much as your actions. Ruminating on worries, regrets, or fears pulls you away from presence and productivity. Training your mind to return to the present moment conserves mental energy and increases clarity. Mindfulness is not just a buzzword. It is a practical tool for energy management. When you focus on the here and now, you stop spinning in circles and start moving forward with purpose. Physical energy and mental energy are deeply connected. Neglecting sleep, nutrition, or exercise reduces your ability to engage fully with life's demands. Health decisions are not separate from energy management. They are the foundation. Prioritize rest and fuel your body wisely to maintain consistent energy. Without this, even the best intentions can collapse under fatigue. Energy also flows in cycles. Recognize your natural rhythms throughout the day and plan accordingly. Some people are most alert and productive in the morning, others in the afternoon or evening. Working against your natural energy peaks leads to frustration and wasted effort. Aligning tasks with your body's clock makes your work feel smoother and more effective. Rest when your body signals it, work when you feel sharpest. Investing energy into growth is vital. Growth stretches your limits but also replenishes energy by building confidence and capability. Avoid the trap of constant survival mode where you only react to emergencies. Instead, dedicate energy to learning, reflection, and skill development. This kind of energy use pays dividends over time, creating a positive cycle of progress and motivation. Your emotions consume energy as well. Carrying anger, resentment, or anxiety creates internal friction that drains you silently. Letting go of grudges and cultivating forgiveness frees up energy trapped in past hurts. Developing emotional resilience through practices like journaling or therapy strengthens your ability to bounce back and conserve energy for what matters. Focusing energy requires clarity on your purpose and goals. Without a clear direction, energy scatters into many directions, producing little result. Define what success and fulfillment mean for you personally. Use this as a compass to guide your decisions and energy allocation. This clarity reduces wasted effort and increases satisfaction with your daily actions. Avoid multitasking. Shifting between tasks fractures your attention and drains more energy than sustained focus on one task. Practice deep work by committing to one task at a time and fully engaging with it. This approach improves both efficiency and energy conservation. Completing tasks completely provides a sense of accomplishment that fuels further energy. Energy management also requires honest self-assessment. Notice when your energy feels low and identify the causes. Are you overwhelmed, distracted, or drained by negative influences? Being aware allows you to adjust before burnout happens. Regularly pause to check in with yourself and make necessary changes. Prevention is more effective than recovery. Seek simplicity. Complexity often multiplies energy drain. Simplify your commitments, environment, and decisions where possible. Minimalism in your schedule and possessions creates space and reduces mental clutter. Energy spent on simplifying creates long-term returns in focus and peace. Energy is amplified through connection. Investing energy in meaningful relationships nurtures your well-being. Avoid superficial interactions that leave you feeling empty. Prioritize time with people who recharge you emotionally and intellectually. These relationships become a source of strength rather than depletion. Finally, recognize that energy is not infinite but renewable. Taking breaks, resting deeply, and engaging in activities you love recharge your energy reserves. Respecting your limits is not weakness, it is wisdom. Balance action with recovery to maintain a sustainable energy flow. Using your energy only on what truly matters is not about doing less, it's about doing right. It's about bringing your full self to the activities that align with your values and aspirations. It's about protecting your focus, honoring your limits, and investing in what moves you toward a meaningful life. When you master this, your days become more productive, your goals more achievable, and your life richer in satisfaction. This is a daily practice that requires discipline and self-awareness. It requires courage to say no, clarity to choose wisely, and strength to maintain boundaries. But the rewards are immense. Your energy is your power. Guard it fiercely. Use it wisely. Live with intention. Chapter 10. Choose to grow stronger with every single moment. Growth is not a distant goal but a continuous choice made in every passing moment. Life presents countless opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient, but none of these come without effort or intention. The true power lies in choosing growth consistently, especially when it feels difficult, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. Growth demands a mindset that refuses to settle for complacency, one that embraces challenges as stepping stones rather than obstacles. Every moment is a chance to deepen self-awareness, expand your capabilities, and strengthen your character. Choosing to grow stronger starts with recognizing that growth is an active process. It is not something that happens passively or magically. It requires a conscious decision to push beyond comfort zones, to face uncertainty with courage, and to persist despite setbacks. Life will always test your resolve, presenting moments that invite you to either shrink back or rise up. The difference is in how you respond. To grow stronger, you must welcome these tests as necessary parts of your journey, rather than threats to your peace. This shift in perspective transforms struggle into progress. Strength grows in the small decisions made each day. It is not only forged in grand achievements, but also in quiet moments of discipline and patience. Choosing to stand firm when distraction tempts you, to keep going when motivation wanes, or to stay honest with yourself in moments of self-doubt. These are the seeds of true growth. Each choice builds momentum, and over time, these seemingly minor acts compound into a foundation of resilience. The path to strength is less about sudden leaps and more about consistent, deliberate steps. A critical part of growth is embracing discomfort rather than avoiding it. Discomfort signals that you are on the edge of your current limits. It is in those moments that growth occurs if you lean into the feeling rather than recoil from it. Resistance is natural, but resisting resistance only prolongs stagnation. Learning to endure discomfort while remaining focused on your goals is what builds mental toughness and emotional resilience. It's important to remember that discomfort is temporary, but the benefits of pushing through are lasting. Growth also requires a willingness to learn from every experience, including failure. Failure is often viewed negatively, but it is one of the most potent teachers if you allow it to be. Every setback contains valuable lessons about what works, what doesn't, and where you can improve. Choosing growth means refusing to let failure define you or stop you. Instead, use failure as feedback and fuel for your development. When you extract wisdom from mistakes, you become stronger and more prepared for future challenges. To choose growth, you must cultivate self-awareness. This means observing your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment, so you can identify patterns that either support or hinder your progress. Awareness allows you to catch yourself when you slip into old habits or negative mindsets. It enables you to make intentional changes rather than reacting unconsciously. This daily practice of self-reflection sharpens your ability to direct your energy toward growth rather than distraction. Another essential aspect is surrounding yourself with influences that promote growth. This includes the people you interact with, the information you consume, and the environments you inhabit. Growth flourishes in supportive, challenging, and inspiring spaces. Choose relationships that encourage your development, mentors who push you to improve, and resources that expand your understanding. Likewise, distance yourself from negativity, complacency, and toxicity that sap your will to grow. Setting clear goals aligned with your values fuels growth. Without a target, energy dissipates in aimless activity. Clarity about what you want to become and why provides direction and motivation to persevere. These goals do not have to be monumental, but should be meaningful enough to inspire effort every day. Break down larger goals into manageable actions to avoid overwhelm and maintain steady progress. Growth is sustained by a vision that keeps you anchored during moments of doubt or fatigue. Growth requires patience and kindness toward yourself. It is easy to become frustrated when progress seems slow or uneven. Recognize that growth is rarely linear. There will be periods of rapid advancement and moments of plateau. Treat yourself with compassion during the difficult phases, knowing they are part of the process. Harsh self-criticism only creates resistance and drains energy. Self-acceptance fuels persistence, making it possible to keep growing even when the road is tough. Choosing to grow stronger means rejecting the comfort of stagnation. It means refusing to settle for who you are today when you know you can be better tomorrow. This mindset is not about perfection or never making mistakes. It is about continuous improvement and a commitment to becoming more capable, more aware, and more resilient. It is a vow to use every moment as an opportunity for advancement, to seek growth even in small daily habits and decisions. Growth also involves expanding your emotional capacity. Developing emotional intelligence allows you to navigate relationships and challenges with greater skill and calm. It means learning to regulate your emotions instead of being controlled by them, cultivating empathy, and communicating effectively. These skills enhance your ability to face life's difficulties without being overwhelmed and help you build deeper, more meaningful connections. As you grow stronger, you will find your sense of purpose deepening, Strength and growth bring clarity about what truly matters. This clarity provides a compass for decision-making and a wellspring of motivation. When you align your actions with your deepest values, growth becomes not just a task but a fulfilling journey. The more you grow, the more you understand your own potential and the difference you can make in the world. Ultimately, growth is a choice you make repeatedly, moment by moment. Each decision to learn, to persevere, to improve builds upon the last. Strength accumulates over time and becomes a part of who you are. This strength empowers you to handle life's inevitable challenges with grace and resolve. It equips you to create the life you desire rather than waiting for circumstances to change. Embracing growth means owning your story, past, present, and future. It means acknowledging where you have been without allowing it to limit where you can go. Your past does not define you, your choices do. With each moment, you have the power to decide what kind of person you will become. Will you let fear or comfort hold you back, or will you choose to grow stronger, even if it requires sacrifice and struggle? Life does not promise ease, but it does offer countless opportunities for growth. Choosing to grow stronger is a daily commitment to face reality honestly, act with discipline, and keep moving forward. It is a courageous path that leads to deeper fulfillment, greater wisdom, and lasting strength. Growth is not something that happens to you, it is something you create. Every moment is an invitation to become more. The power to grow stronger is within you. It is a choice to embrace challenge, learn from every experience, and cultivate resilience in the face of adversity. By choosing growth with every moment, you build a life of meaning and strength that no external circumstance can shake. This path requires courage, persistence, and faith in your ability to evolve. When you commit to this journey, you unlock your full potential and create a legacy of strength that lasts far beyond yourself.